Hey everybody, Matt Vickers. Still got this broken arm here. Um, so yeah, like I mentioned in the other question, I think when we're talking about family, that the notion of family can extend past biological realms, and especially this week can include things like the community of Macomb, or a platoon of soldiers, or a network of people, watching a crash on the news. It's not just biological roots that we're talking about. And when we discuss loss throughout the discussion board so far, most of us seem to think of ultimate loss. We think of death. So while this isn't true for everything we read this week, I think, especially in the short stories, we have a cold and distance that surrounds death, um, sort of an absence of emotion. So in O'Brien's piece, there's that line, "until he died" or "until he was shot in the head," things of that nature. Um, and we see throughout that story, death is a very common part of this experience, and many of the troops is completely unfazed. Death is a part of their life. Many of them are completely unaffected and just continue marching. And similarly, there's an equal amount of distance, I think, in videotape. We have a man who is basically forcing his wife to watch that violence in that weird juxtaposition of actuality where it's not, the line says it's not fancy movie violence, but then there's also that distance, there's that separation and coldness that the videotape allows, that seen on the news on the television allows. They cheap mass production and more or less unremarkable. So they're watching a video of someone dying and it's unremarkable to them. It's no big deal, even though this is someone's life. Uh, Other stories that we've read use death as a catalyst of emotion or a climax of events, but these stories, represent it so plainly and so matter of factly without any impact on the characters. That's not to say all the stories this week do that, though. Obviously, Gwendolyn Brooks' poem, The Mother, does not deal with death so casually. And To Kill a Mockingbird, I think, does a good job of showing characters who are deeply affected by death and then others who aren't. Jam, for instance, I think, is substantially affected by the death of both his mother and Tom Robinson. But then we have Bob Ewell, who celebrates over the death of Tom. And I think Lee uses uses people's reactions to death and character and how characters react to it, I guess, as a means to further that good versus evil even more throughout the book. And definitely, you know, although there are many reasons, Bob Ewell is considered bad, and part of the reason is because he views death so casually, so carelessly. He's celebrating, and death is never something to be celebrated. That's all I got.